okay? I mean, folks, there are cases every week now where they go grab giant internet service provider companies. In some cases, one case it had over 1 million websites, thousands and thousands of customers. One gambling site that just let people go find legal gambling sites. It was like an index, like a yellow page, just shut it down. They had the Fed seize a whole internet service provider company because there was one site with a message board and somebody linked to a song you could download. And they took tens of thousands of domains. It was hotels domains, racetracks, restaurants, dentist, and the feds just said, it's all ours. We don't, and you're like, well, that's crazy. Well, why would they want to discredit themselves? No, they're teaching you they're going to do what they want. They've got picked federal juries, 98% conviction rates. They're shipping narcotics in, and they can't say no now to the feds that want to kidnap kids and make money off of it. See, once they're all corrupt, it sinks to the bottom because then nobody can say no to anybody else. And so the most horrible stuff you can imagine is now the norm. And it all starts with prohibition and cops and the FBI being paid off by gangsters to let liquor be sold illegally. And then once they got a taste of that money and being high rollers, it was over. Once J. Edgar Hoover on record could go to the racetrack every time and always win on the ponies as his little payoff. That's a big way politicians have been paid off for more than 100 years. You go to the racetrack and you win every time. Hillary Clinton puts a couple $1,000s in on cattle futures, makes, hundreds of times what she invested. She didn't really win the cattle futures. She just was given it. And Congress gets caught insider trading. They just say, well, we say it's legal. Of course, it's not legal. Okay, I've been ranting here. I am so wound up. I've got Chuck Baldwin coming up, and I want to get him on, but I feel like I should open the phones up to the military again. We've got our weekly visit with Bob Chapman coming up, but I did hours and hours of research and preparation this morning at home, and I get in here ready to put on a huge presentation of information and just start ranting at you, desperately trying to get people to wake up. Let me just restart right here, okay? 2 days ago, as you know, we've linked to the video and the audio. I played it on the nightly news last night of Secretary of Defense Panetta, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the chairman, telling the Senate committee that we don't come to you to launch wars now. We go to the UN. So not only is the president, they're saying, a dictator, that's the essence of it. In mainline history, mainline jurisprudence, this is what's taught 101 in law school, okay? This is 101. This is the royal flush of tyranny. But they went one further. Not only are they saying the president's a dictator, which is total treason, high crime, and legislation's been introduced to begin impeachment, saying it's a high crime and quoting the Constitution. A high crime, folks. That's punishable by... well, go read the statute. The New World Order will not be outdone by Caesar or by Hitler. No, sir. No, sir. They've got to go further. They say, we don't say the presidency has this power. We get it from the UN and NATO. And I've played the clip over and over again. You can go watch it. It's in the article, coup d'etat, Pentagon, and Obama declare Congress ceremonial. They pretty much abolished Congress. Caesar kept the Senate around. Kind of as like a think tank. He'd hear what they had to say, but he had the final word. I mean, history repeats itself. This didn't just happen in Rome. It's happened over and over and over and over again. So I thought I would explain to everybody exactly what's happening here. The exact same development is happening in Europe. They get the countries to sign on to the bureaucracy of the EU. Then the bureaucracy gets the traitorous people that they financed into politics in every country in the EU, France, Germany, all of them, to sign over national sovereignty and treaties to the new private banking arm. You know it as the G20. Then the G20 has their operatives, all former Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, Bank of England on record, and Bundesbank, sign on to 1.5 quadrillion. We've been signed on as well, just made up. Like I put 1.5 quadrillion in a computer. I have the politicians sign on to the debt. I have the corporate whore media I own as a globalist banker, as a Rothschild Rockefeller type, say that it's our debt and that we owe it. The public's not paying attention. Then I raise taxes, cut benefits to put the economy into free fall so that when things go into total depression, I can come in with the tens of trillions I've just gotten in bailout and buy everything up. But I never use the money to shore up the derivatives. I keep growing those and telling folks too big to fail. So you go down with the ship, I go down with the ship, but the banksters come out dominating. And here's Time magazine. Regime change in Europe. Do Greece and Italy amount to a banker's coup? And they go on to say it is a banker's coup, but it's a good thing. The bankers know how to fix it because they did it. Here's another one. Banker coup. Goldman Sachs takes over Europe. Other mainstream articles. You can go read all of this, okay? Okay. Banker coup. Time magazine. Now, the exact same banks that run Amarallalaki and all the rest of these globalists, all the rest of these New World Order trash, they are now going before Congress and saying, you have no authority, you run nothing, you are nothing. And the Congress is getting angry. But you see, the CIA that represents the foreign banks, the foreign corporate takeover occupation, this is a literal banker occupation. On record, they call it that themselves at Davos and everywhere. I mean, they think it's very funny. This is very funny to them. I have a Reuters article that I didn't make a big enough deal about yesterday where they say, we're modeling this after the NDAA of America. We will now secretly arrest whoever we want and disappear them and kill them. And our own State Department's not criticizing it because now the communist Chinese are getting aid and comfort from their globalist partners that run our country. Because the bankers have invested and set tax laws to move everything to China that they've made a deal with. China is now rolling back reforms and saying, yeah, we'll secretly arrest. In the past, they didn't put it on paper. They just did it. You think your pension's safe? You think your children are safe? You think your culture's safe? When the government's run by people that openly say they'll kill citizens secretly or kidnap you and put a bag over your head so they can now go into black op groups and private corporations and mercenaries and tell them, go kill Andrew Breitbart, go kill Alex Jones, go kill Matt Drudge, go kill whoever, go kill the D.C. madam. You understand, they wouldn't be openly pushing torture like they did 10 years ago. They weren't going to try to deploy it and sell it, and they did. They're not pushing secretly killing citizens because they just want to come out and do that. They're doing that because it's already going on. It's already going on. It's been going on a long time. But they don't want to be blackmailed with it. They want it legal. Even though you can't legalize crime, those laws are null and void, and them passing these laws is the total conviction proof in their own words of their criminality and treason and the fact that they're a danger. But we're all in grave danger. All of us are in grave danger. If you're not getting chills, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't absolutely burning with a desire to get fully informed on this and inform others and resist it, and if you're not preparing to resist this by every means necessary in the info war, and to defend yourself by every means, including physical, which is your ancient right, then you're not living in reality. Or if you're scared, then you better join this and serve evil, which you'll be destroyed, guaranteed, by them. Or you can run, but you can't hide. This is a world government. You have been warned, you have been told, you have been put on record. I am here in the face, going head up directly against the most evil system the world has ever seen, because it's uncloaking itself now. And my power and my prestige is going to rise as everything I've talked about unfolds and as I directly challenge them. And you're like, oh, great, an egomaniac. No, the opposite. No, it's the opposite. As I do my duty and rise up against this, that is when I enter the maximum danger. Those of you out there on average who fight this tyranny, you are in much greater danger not speaking out against it, because it'll come into fruition and target everyone. It targets everyone. People say, well, what do I have to hide? I don't care if they're setting up tyranny. I'm just going to go along with it. They want to feed on you. They want to bully you. They want to cut your wages. They want to take everything you've got. They want to euthanize you when you're old. Bill Gates has said it. Don't you understand that? Don't you get that? History is happening right now. Do you hear it? You hear it? In the silence, you hear the clash of arms across the world. You hear the young, the children being persecuted, the 1 million dead Iraqis, the 40,000+ dead Libyans, the al-Qaeda forces slaughtering them in mass as we speak. And it's all admitted. But it's humanitarian and liberal, so it's good. The 51 million aborted babies. Now they say kill living babies. Now they say kill grandma on the cover of Newsweek. They openly... Mancow sent me a mainstream news articles where universities are now promoting the legalization of pedophilia and having group meetings pushing. And I mean, it's just, and then you understand we're the ones that are going to be persecuted because we're not turned over to evil. Do you get that? When wickedness takes over, it doesn't just go after the good. It goes after everything because that's its nature. I'm calling all of those who want to stand for liberty and justice. I'm calling for everyone out there who loves freedom to really think about which side you're going to be on, because that's what's important. Make a decision what side you're on and then put it into action. But the decision is the most important point. And you know what your heart and your soul wants. You want to make the decision to fight evil. But your flesh is afraid. Go through that fear and find your humanity. Step across on faith and say, God, I don't know what's going to happen to me. And I'm not worried about that. Whatever your will is, just use me as an instrument against this darkness to defend the innocent. Now, I have some really good news when we come back from break. The legislation in the Senate and the House is picking up steam very quickly to begin impeachment proceedings against President Obama if he does not immediately seek congressional approval for all military actions that are unauthorized. And so now this issue is starting to come to a head, and this is good. The enemy is testing us right now to see if they can fully engage in a public coup over this republic and over Congress. And I'm going to give you the number to the Judiciary Committee to begin impeachment proceedings and the general number to promote the piece of legislation with the legislation number introduced in the House by Walter Jones of North Carolina. We're going to fight back against this wickedness straight ahead.
Folks, Iran and the Mideast nuclear...
Okay, continuing here with the news. Legislation has been introduced for high crimes and misdemeanors. If the president does not respond and seek congressional authorization and approval for military actions, it's supposed to be a declaration of war. So you guys have gotten away from doing things for a long time. If the president doesn't do that, impeachment will begin for high crimes and misdemeanors. Look, this is worse than just launching wars without congressional approval. It is